at the Deutz display as part of the 2014 Clarendon Classic Machinery Rally. Deutz, of course, are good stationary engines, plus they also use them in many vehicles, boats, tractors, front-end loaders, pumps, compressors, generators, because Deutz is 150 this year. They started in 1864, same as Magirus as well, 1864, and they started with engines, and now they're still focused on as an engine company. So in trucks, they did the Magirus-Deutzes, plus also the Fawn. The big Fawn's got an MWM in it, made by Deutz, and they also made early ones. They started in a tracked vehicle as well. The first production air-cooled diesel that was in vehicles was a tracked vehicle called a Caterpillar Track East. They made for the Russian front. So you also drove trucks?
Yeah, I had my own Deutz truck.
So what's that? K&R, is it K&R Stringer?
KR Stringer from under.
Yeah.
I carved my own grain. Well, first job with it is I went to Conning up in Western Australia with a triple deck load of sheep. Took them over to my brother's place. He had a farm over there. And then I went back 12 months later and picked them up. And that was the first job that I'd done with my Deutz that I bought. Pluto single drive.
Yep.
And then I used them.
And the Pluto's generally cab over in Australia.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was a cab over.
And that's the one that most people would see. Although I do hear a lot of people like the bonneted ones, the square bonnet.
Yep.
Which in Australia is generally the Jupiter.
Yeah. Yep.
So we couldn't actually get a square nose bonneted Jupiter here today, or a round nose today. We've got the Pluto. Yep. But I think a lot of people do like the bonneted ones.
Yeah, everybody talks about that.
Yeah. I've got
round
one, but
nose.
it's in Tasmania. You got your round nose one you're fixing up, and I think there's a few people starting to fix Magirus now.
Yeah.
Fix up the Magirus.
A lot of interest.
Yeah.
My name's Roger Wenzel. I'm the sales manager for Deutz Australia, and we're certainly proud to be here because it's the 150th anniversary of Deutz worldwide. It's the oldest engine company in the world and the largest air-cooled engine company in the world.
Well, look, many of the Deutz engines, Deutz have been making engines for years, and they also own different companies as well, like MWM. So this is a Fawn. This is an 8x8 Fawn. It's a huge, big ex-military vehicle as a wrecker. In this particular case, it's used in Australia here by Rex Andrews Engineering, who brought it along to support the club and support the display. So it has an MWM big V10 water-cooled in it, and they use this one when they want to tow big fins. They have those big twin turbines. They tow them up and down the hills. This is really the only thing that could do it. So they use it for this one. So they brought it along for display. It's over width, so they had to low load it here. And the German army tend to have a lot of these now. They also use them as fire tenders at airfields. And the German army also had hundreds of Magirus-Deutz Jupiters as well. And the Jupiters would tend to be the bonneted ones. So this is the Fawn. Over here is the Pluto. Now the Magirus company combined was taken over by Deutz in 1936, and they sold it off to Iveco in 1983. But in the meantime, they made trucks together. So this is a Magirus-Deutz, and this is a typical truck that a lot of people would have seen on the roads. This is Cliff Moore's. He got this one, the blue one, because it was identical looking to his dad's truck, Jim Moore's truck. So he hopes to restore this, put J Moore on the side. His dad, though, originally replaced the Deutz engine with a supercharged 6-cylinder UD. And there's really only one of those in existence because he had to put a radiator in it and convert it, because of course the UD is water-cooled. But yeah, this is Cliff's one, so he was able to bring along for the show to represent the mark of Magirus. So the Jupiter, as said, is a square-nosed Jupiter. There's also the round-nosed Jupiter, and there's also the square-nosed Uranus, which is a V12. The names, though, people often think is to do with the shape. So even though they're more common that way, actually their names are really designed to reflect the weight they can carry. With the tiny little Mercure and Cirrus, then the Jupiters, then the Plutos, and then the big Uranus, which carried more. This is Ray Cooper. He's from the Pioneer Timber Cutters, and he's come here to the Clarendon Classic Rally to be with the Timber Cutters. But he used to have one of these Magiruses, didn't you?
Yeah, Pluto. I had one, yeah, a bonneted one, and I used to run to Mount Isa. I had a bit of trouble. I was coming up the Cunningham's Gap, and she blew up. I got it towed up to Warwick, and then got it transported back to Londonderry where I had the yard, and I pulled the sump off, and we found out I grabbed the piston. No, this is nice. Anyhow, put it back together, took it down to Russell Motors.
Oh yeah, but you took a piston out, didn't you?
Yeah, we took the piston out.
Yeah, you took the piston out, put it back together.
Yeah, and put it back together. And I rang up Russell Motors in Auburn and said, well, I want to buy a new truck. And can I trade the other one in? He said, yeah. So I traded it in. That day, I drove it down there with...
running on 7 pistons, 7 con rods,
yeah. And they took it for a test run. And okay, took it as a trade-in. I got my 814 cab over.
So you got another one?
Yeah, I bought another one.
Yeah.
You know, and I ran into a chap with another Deutz that I used to own. I didn't let on who I was. And he said, you like Deutzes? And I said, yeah, as a matter of fact I do. I said, you like them, I hate them. But I said, anyhow, he said, this is for sale. And this is the one that only had 7 pistons in it. Anyhow, he said, oh, you're going to sell it. He said, if I could catch up with a fella that traded this in, he said, I'd kill him. Anyhow, he said, because it blew up on me. And he said, when we pulled it down, it only had 7 pistons in it. Well, there you go.
So you didn't let on?
No, I did not.
Charlie Nevin from Schofield. So thanks for coming to our Deutz stand. So tell us, you used to work on Deutz?
I did indeed, Steve, yes, in London and in Ireland. On the V8s, the 232 D30.
So you used to rebuild them?
Oh yeah,
you a mechanic?
We did. Yeah, mechanic. I did mechanic work, and I also learned to drive on them, or part of what I learned to drive on. I have a 511 myself in a trencher. I'm a Deutz fan, like I understand how they work.
Yeah, so you're not rebuilding one, but you're restoring one, Ron.
Yeah, I'm restoring
so tell
one.
us about yours.
Slopey nose one, like the Ansett Pioneer one.
Round nose,
round nose one. And I've got 3 different chassis and pieces, and to try and make the one up.
Now, how old are yours? How old are your round nose Jupiters?
1950 is the one I want to do up.
That'd have to be pretty early. That was one of the first ones out here.
Reg Ansett brought them out in the first place, and they all sounded different, always sounded nice, and I always reckoned I'd wanted one. And then when I looked around at all the shows, there's only one in Brisbane that I know of, a red one, and there's a red fire engine in Melbourne.
Yeah, there's not many left around. There's not many people have kept.
And then there's a one in Tasmania, a yellow one.
Well, there's quite a few being restored now. You couldn't bring yours to the rally. Next year?
Next year, I hope to, yeah.
Yeah, and I've got a Jupiter too in Tasmania. It's coming up, so next year it should be here too. A few of us Deutz collectors who brought Deutz to the rally, some in the Magirus-Deutz truck, and this one is a 714 V8 that I picked up at a clearing sale up at Weewall. So it was being sold. It was used for 40 years in the 60s, pumping 6 megalitres a day for 3 months straight, and then they give it a break for 9 months and start again on the cotton farm. So about 4 years ago it started to use a bit of oil, so they stopped using it. So I was able to get it. Still turns. I just have to hook up its tank and bleed it, and hopefully we can start it today or tomorrow. Deutz, Hanamag tractors, Vespa, a lot of Europeans have an unusual key, and the key of course really doesn't operate the starter, but allows the power to go through. So we'll use this and start it up. The V8 has more a typical truck sound, the truckers would hear, whereas the V12 was very smooth.
Thank you for watching TRUCKSTOP TV. Please remember to subscribe and see you at the next truck stop.